when Chomsky talks about, the de-radicalization, the declawing of discourse, I mean, everyone associates him with the media. And, everyone thinks that he's talking about the New York Times and the Washington Post and all that. But Chomsky has been always much wider than that. He's been referring to the responsibility of intellectuals. That was his first major published article in 1967, the responsibility of intellectuals. And he says that they're not being responsible at all. And so I think that there is an overall problem within academia and across society, and particularly amongst elite society, where they are serving the interests of powerful political and corporate entities, and are not comfortable or interested in, things like the peace movement, but also other things that are usually connected with the left. So I do think that there is a broader problem there, and I think that this does point to that. In fact, and again, sorry to continue my ramble, but for the way of characterizing the film, I was encouraging more of that for the documentary, because I think perhaps because Roger's a very successful academic. However, the people who, the other people around him, and the other people who have pioneered this story over the past 15, 20 years, have been oddballs. They haven't been academics. They haven't been the professors of whatever. There's been me, a part-time teacher, and whatever else I do. There's been Tom Secker, who I don't even know what job he does, but I think for a while he worked maybe part-time for a local charity or something. He hasn't done any academic work. There was David Robb, who did that first relatively sort of short book where he kind of opened up that field, who was a kind of renegade freelance journalist who I met in LA a few years ago. And he just was sort of like, he was kind of chain smoking with his trousers half done up. And, so all the people who have tended to characterize this field have been, we've been on the fringes. We've not been a sort of mainstream academia, I wouldn't say at all. So I think there was perhaps differences between my perspective on that and say what Roger Stahl was his perspective. But he sort of thought, well, we're kind of all doing stuff, and we're all academics, and we're all kind of academia is working here. It's making truth come to light. We're analyzing stuff over time. And I was like, this isn't a story of academic success. This is a story of massive structural academic failure over 4 decades at least. But maybe that wasn't a very popular way of putting it.
Well, yeah, it's easy for Roger to say, I guess. Yeah, I mean, me being in academia, I have come to the sense that the university system has always been deeply intertwined with the national security state for the past,